afternoon, whenever you're listening to this, welcome to the internet's most sophisticated wrestling podcast, discussing the weekly aspects of it all, right here on
The Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast.
It's 8:41 Eastern Time. Do you know where your kids are? I don't know, but I know in an hour and a half or so, they're going to be sitting down in front of a computer listening to the Bald Monkeys Wrestling Podcast. Welcome, everybody. And guess what? We got a kind of a packed house tonight. We got a Steven, we got Christopher, and we got Captain frickin' Chuckles.
Whatever happened to the boss? Come on now.
You know, I only like to call you the boss when you're in like a downtrodden state, like you're feeling vulnerable, and then I just like lay it on you.
Every time I talk to you.
Oh, well, okay. We got the boss, Stephen Hill, here.
It's better.
It's a weird hiatus, you know?
1 week?
I wanted
You got to
to
use everybody's nicknames, you know? You just can't just come out and give normal names. I mean, it just doesn't work like
Especially when you started off by asking where everybody's kids are.
Yeah, that's
I
kind
know
of creepy.
it was me it was me clarifying that I know where they'll be in an hour and a half. They'll be listening to our podcast. Come on.
It
All
still
right.
made you seem like a pedophile.
So
Yeah.
let's launch right into it. I've got a viewer question, and that question is: if you could have any mixed match, who would you pair up? So any man with any woman, any combo at all, what would your perfect mixed match pairing be? Who wants to go first?
Well, there's an easy answer right there now, and it's the most popular couple in wrestling, right? What if you put Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins in the ring against each other?
Are they the most popular couple in wrestling, or is that what the announcers say?
They're the most popular in the general attendance of wrestling, not the Bald Monkeys podcast personnel, but I would say
Damn straight.
As we always talk, you know, they're probably the most popular out there right now. Well, I don't know. Kofi's pretty high up there, so he's 1B, Seth Rollins, to Kofi 1A, but Becky's still definitely the most popular women's wrestler out there right now.
So
I don't know. But that's not an interesting match. Like, let me rephrase that. That is the easiest answer. It is the wrong answer.
Wrong,
it's
exactly.
It's not entertaining at all. I wouldn't pair those up or have it. That wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be a good match at all. So now I've given the other two enough time to think about it. So one of you go.
Wow, dead air. Dead air. They're just really lost right now.
there are crickets
It's
right
right
there.
current, right?
Yeah, yes, of course, current wrestlers, WWE specifically. We'll keep it to WWE. Wow.
What about
Or Truth and
what about
Carmella.
No. So we're just pairing off people that are actually like couples in some way.
It would be entertaining for her to take the 24/7 title from him.
Well, to be fair,
yeah,
Chris,
that's fair.
mine is actually a real couple, but not a real couple that is portrayed in WWE right now. I specifically the other day was got into that YouTube vortex. You know, you start watching YouTube and you just get stuck in it for a while. And every now and then it'll pop up some of those Sheamus videos where Sheamus is like working out with other WWE personalities. And he was working out with Aleister Black and Selena Vega. And I'm like, man, how great would it be to actually see, like, let those two like break kayfabe for a little bit and just like let them wrestle together. Because, you know, those in particular, they've got to have great chemistry with each other. And their characters are so the character is so different, or their characters are so different right now that I really think it would be something compelling, especially if they stuck with it, I guess.
But they've had interaction in NXT. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why her Conranas look so good, is because she's done it on him most of the time.
He's the practice dummy, right?
He's probably not complaining.
It's you know what I like about the question is that mixed matches are tough. I'm very hard on mixed match wrestling because for the most part, I think the pairings that the WWE has a tendency to put together in the matches they tend to push are rubbish. You know, they don't sell them enough. And actually, now that I think about it, maybe that is a reason why Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch would work. Because they are a popular real couple. They have a little bit of interaction, and but that's kind of new that they've been playing with that new interaction. Like really, like I didn't even really notice it till this week that they were kind of pushing that, like embracing the fact that they're a couple.
Yeah, because it's going to sell more viewerships and sell more tickets, to be honest, or sell more T-shirts.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Oh.
It is. What is with you just asking the question?
Well, I don't know.
Is it?
I explain.
Will he?
Usually,
Are they?
Well, instead of getting defensive, usually you come back and try to convince me of why. I guess I don't see it.
They're popular, so people are excited that they're dating because they're both popular. They're two faces that are hanging out together out there in social media, and people are following them on social media, and they geek out over it. I don't understand why. It's like people living vicariously through celebrities, I guess. I don't
100%.
I don't agree with it, but that's how it works. So I've jotted down some names.
All right.
As we banter on about nothing. The obvious Nakamura answer would be Asuka versus Nakamura. Just to have the two Asian people fight. Then I wrote down Sonya Deville versus EC3.
Oh, okay.
And then I went back old school and I did Lana versus Aiden English.
How about Toni Storm versus anybody?
She does a lot of that on the independent circuit. So, yeah. I mean that would work. She does. She's had some matches with. He was on. What was the AEW Battle Royal? He's kind of grunge, kind of goth. What's his name?
Oh. I'm not even gonna try because I don't have it. But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
People,
yeah, that's fun stuff. How about you, Captain Chuckles? What do you think? A woman beating the crap out of a guy. Guy beating the crap out of a woman.
I would love to see Ember Moon just like take out any guy.
I can vouch for that idea. I'm loving it.
That's a good one. That's actually, I kind of forgot about Ember. You know, she's been doing these weird little promos in the back.
Yeah, but if we were talking, you know, like a tag team kind of thing, I mean, you know, with what they're doing now with Seth and Becky, it would be cool to see, I think, them to go up against and this is just putting two people together, but Kofi and Ember Moon. I think that would be cool.
That actually sounds like a kind of fun match. The only issue that I would have with it is that for some reason I feel like Kofi and Ember would lose because I don't know. I just feel like faces win too much nowadays. Am I wrong with that? Do faces win too much, or is it more equal than I think it is?
Well, I mean, it depends on the show. It depends on the pay-per-view. Obviously,
Shane's been winning a lot.
Yeah, Shane's been, healing it up and winning a lot of matches, and they're getting a big push with Shane right now. But does that balance everything out?
Maybe not. I mean, the New Day seems to never lose.
They lost a lot when they were going up against the Usos, right? They were flip-flopping the belts a lot, and even the Bar. But yeah, it seems that the New Day just are unbeatable in certain points.
I think I mentioned this to you the other day. So the other day, Chris and I
Jimmy Havoc
were Jimmy Havoc. There you go. There you go. What, like 5 minutes later. So the other day, Chris and I were at work, and I locked my keys in my car. So we got to sit out there and talk about wrestling for a while I waited for somebody to come break into my car. True story.
It was so fun because the side note, I really, he locked the key fob in the car, so his key fob was dead, and unfortunately the key fob was not being detected by the car. But I so wanted the trunk to open just to see his fat ass try to crawl through the trunk, but unfortunately it wouldn't open up.
Wow.
So, go ahead.
Sticks and stones break my bones.
Really aren't friends.
Gosh. So one of the things, I'm sure I've said, like, maybe mentioned this before, but this thing with faces winning and stuff like that, and even see it with, like, I understand it with house shows, but like national television, like, who cares about the crowd? I mean, it's fun when a crowd really gets into it, but a crowd that's going to get into it is going to get into it no matter what. Like, so if it's in Montreal, that crowd's going to be into it no matter what happens. But you go to, like, in the middle of nowhere and the crowd kind of stinks. I don't see why they try to play to the crowd so much, why they care so much. If what your number one worry should be is, does the TV product hold up?
Well, that would be no right now.
No, it's not holding up comparative, but look at it this way. So they already get the money up front from the television show, right? Like, ratings don't equal more money right away, right? Because they're basically getting a contract for the television rights. They're getting sponsors, etc. The shows that they're putting on at the arenas is bonus money, essentially, right? Is merchandise money, vending money, whatever they're doing at the show itself. That's all extra money on top of the money they've already received. So I can kind of argue for the other side that they need to put on a good show for that live crowd, because that's the money they're earning right then and there. They've already earned that TV money. They've already signed that contract. So if you look at it purely on a business angle, it's actually the opposite way.
I guess, but doesn't the story writing take care of that? If they nurture the product on the TV, doesn't it make the live show that much more worth going to?
Should.
I don't know, because we went to a pretty bad live show, like or house show, I should say. Like, that was kind of rough. Like, that wasn't a great house show.
Oh.
And we've been to, obviously, really good NXT house shows, and we've been to really good pay-per-views and Raws and SmackDowns that are decent. But sometimes they just lay an egg, man. It's like, sometimes I feel like they just phone it in, maybe just because of travel expectations or the fact that they're, like you said, having trouble nurturing a storyline, or doing some kind of, like, relaunch, like this whole women's division thing that basically has gone through like a rework after WrestleMania. So I see what you're saying, that they can kind of get away with it, but they're not. They're trying to play to the crowd. It's almost like they're wanting to see how the crowd reacts to certain things to see if it's working or not. Because my argument was always, they can see the crowd, they can play off the crowd, they understand if it's popping, whether it's a heel pop or a face pop. You can't see the crowd at home. You don't know if they're enjoying it or not, unless it's the Firefly Funhouse, which everyone's enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely. Although the crowd never, like, they always show the same angle when they show it from the crowd's perspective. And you can always see that the crowd's always watching it, but they never look excited. But I just chalk that up to, no, they're into it. They're all just watching it, like, excited to see it. But, how are they really going to gauge reactions when they're not going to react, I guess, live react to it, really? If that makes sense. I mean, I guess those pre-taped promos like that, they always suffer from that, especially it's not live, so there's no, like, I don't know that there's really a reaction at that point. Now, as an aside to that, thank God that they didn't actually bring Bray Wyatt out. Man, how I was worried about that.
Wait a second. You were talking about how you wanted them to bring him out and wanted them to do something on the stage or in the ring, like do the fun
This is
house
hey,
there. So
this is
are
the game.
are you
This
going
is the game.
backwards?
No,
What are you doing?
this is the game. Listen, Chris, this is the game. I say something that does actually need to happen, but I don't want it to because I enjoy it so much, and I'm so afraid that they're going to ruin it that when they don't pull the trigger, well, I'm satisfied on the inside because at least they didn't ruin the one good thing they have. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle. By the end of the program, I will have said that they need to bring him out live again. Maybe I'll end with that. I don't need to make sense. Come on now.
No. And neither does the Firefly Funhouse, which has just been it's just getting better and better. Just his little poems that he's written basically, and again, if you look at it and read into it, other than what it actually is, and read into it like almost picking on the wrestling business or picking on Vince or picking on his character, man, he's layering these skits so well, and it's been great. And I'm interested in seeing what he's going to do in the ring and who he's going to go up against in the ring first. So it should be interesting. We'll see. I got to imagine they got to bring him out soon. Like, it's been how many weeks of this have we seen Firefly Funhouse?
No, it's been quite a few. It's what, like 8, 9, something
Been
like
at least
that.
2 months, I think. At least 8 weeks.
So who's his first opponent? Who's the best first opponent for him? That's not, you don't have to go out like huge, right? You can start kind of slow. Like, what would be a good start for him to come out?
Well, I think I made this argument the other week is that I think it should be Randy Orton. I think that is pushing towards Randy Orton. I don't know that needs to be his first pay-per-view opponent. I think that it's not too... I don't think that Randy Orton's too big of an opponent. I mean, it's Bray Wyatt. He's a well-established wrestler. You want to see him go out there and just screw over jobbers or something like that? I mean, if anything, if he's going to have any time with a jobber, he should just go out to the ring and, like, mind wipe the jobber and, like, bring him into the fold. I don't know.
They've been doing jobbers a lot lately.
Jobbers have been quite popular. Quite.
I love the female jobbers. I mean, they sell it so well when they get squashed in a half a second.
For those of you that do not understand sarcasm, Captain Chuckles was being very sarcastic there. They're awful.
I was. Well, back to the Bray thing. I mean, I know that they're on different shows right now, I believe, but I mean, but over the last couple of weeks, Aleister Black has been like, "Come on, somebody take me on. Let's go. Who's going to come up?" I mean, I think that would be kind of interesting to see the two of them kind of have something together.
What is your end game with that, though?
I don't know right now. I literally just like was thinking like what has been going on the past couple of weeks with the shows, and like it just kind of popped into my head. So I guess it's just a point for discussion.
Sure.
Which I'm digging the Aleister Black promos. Like it's after his strong matches that he had with Ricochet there for a while, and when they first came up, when they were just trying to put something on TV that was entertaining because Vince was panicking, he came out great, and then they kind of tucked him away while Ricochet was flourishing on Raw, and now these promos are coming out, and when he turned and the door opened up and he just started yelling, I mean, I was in. Like, that's it. I'm all in on Aleister Black on this gimmick that he's pulling right now. His kind of darkness and his just sitting back there and just begging someone to pick a fight with him. I'm go ahead, Steve.
I want him to be a monster heel. It's almost like we in the 90s and everything, you had Kane and the Undertaker. And then you had the the badass who would kick your ass and the Undertaker and the Demon and Kane. Let Bray be the kind of new Kane figure, and let Alistair be the badass who just kicks everybody's asses covered in tattoos. And just let them
I like it.
heels and do it the right way.
I like it too. I like the idea, Chuck. I like where you're going with it, Steven. The only thing that worries me about it is just WWE creative. How that is the most important match where they face off, they fight each other, and you have to end it and make them both look strong. You have
I
to.
don't think you have them face each other right off. Like, I think that'll be later on down the road.
I
Their
don't.
first big thing, and it's probably just me wanting it, is once Roman Reigns finished with Shane and all this crap, have him out there talking about it being his yard, and now he'll take on anybody. Aleister Black, and let Aleister Black go over Roman Reigns.
I like that. That's really good.
Let him do it as a
likes
bad guy.
everybody over Roman Reigns.
I do.
Don't we owe him? Don't we owe Captain Chuckles a couple T-shirts? Wasn't there a few T-shirts we needed to get him?
I don't know. I think I'm
Add
gonna get him a
Reigns.
Billy
Reigns
Billy
to the list,
Kay. I'm gonna add there because he likes watching Billy Kay knock out jobbers.
Listen, we call that projection. In psychology, that's called projection. When Chris says Billy Kay towards Captain Chuckles, that is not accurate. That is his least favorite wrestler. He is trying to pawn it off on Captain Chuckles, and we should stop him right away.
Speaking of
Can't
Chris
stop
and his least favorite wrestlers, Big Cass.
Oh,
Yeah,
been
he's been
calling
he's been showing up a little bit on the independent circuit, and I haven't gotten a good look at him and see how he looks. But is he in shape finally? Has he finally figured out how to get rid of the boobs?
He's gotten his shape back. He went to rehab. Him and Enzo were good again, but he did the whole "I'm a big guy, I'm 7 foot, nobody can beat me," and Moxley showed up and kicked his ass the other night.
Whooped him and gave
Enzo came in and he hit Enzo with a dirty deed also.
Deeds. Yeah.
yes, Moxley,
I
the
mean,
drink wrestler. Yeah.
Moxley the drink. So, that reminds me, Steven, you owe me a drink.
Yeah, I know. We told you that like 2
Didn't
weeks
get-
ago we owed you drinks.
No. This is officially on the podcast. I get to rub it into you. I got to rub it into James last week. I get to rub it into you this week. So don't you
You
forget.
haven't been
to
here,
show me.
have you?
No, I haven't. So yeah, you owe me a drink.
Okay.
I am
You're
happy.
obnoxious. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that. I'm happy that Cass is getting his crap together. But I still think he's a terrible wrestler. I still think his character's stupid, and I still think he's pointless and not going to go anywhere. Him and Enzo are destined to just be independent wrestlers, and not even good ones. I think they've kind of missed their shot, both of them. Enzo to his own fault, and Cass just because he's not good. But it's okay to see that he's not dead. He didn't kill himself going intoxicating himself or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
Damn.
He still got boobs.
Boobies. So we got a lot of moving parts going on right now. A lot of different storylines that are being pushed. Some of them are recycled. Stomping Ground, it's not looking spectacular. But do we think that a title is going to change hands at Stomping Ground?
I think a few of them.
A few of them, really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
I think Bailey beats Alexa. I don't think that's going to change. I think she keeps it. I think Becky loses.
Becky loses
And I
to
think
Lacey
Brock
Evans, huh?
cashes in.
On Lacey Evans?
Oh, no. I think Baron Corbin's about to win, and Brock's music hits, and he comes out.
Okay, so he cashes in on Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Eh.
I don't think Ricochet can take out Joe.
I mean, isn't it? Isn't it like we're not even sure who the special guest referee is still for this Corbin Rollins match, right? Like they're still teasing that,
Yeah.
and I just like at what point are they just abandoning that? Are they going to get rid of that? Like I dig this Rollins. I think we all kind of like this Rollins. Like he's pretty hardcore, and he's just chasing around people with a chair and just beating the crap out of people, right?
How could
Like
you not like that?
I mean, it's awesome. Like it's definitely a great turn to his character. Um, but I don't understand like what it's leading towards other than Brock being the ref. Like I don't
Yeah, that kind of
who
works.
who's the only person that like he like wouldn't be afraid or would be it would tie the whole storyline back together. It would be Brock as the ref, which I'm kind of bored about. Like I'd rather it be something like surprising.
It could be somebody like Reigns.
No.
How do you make Reigns the ref? How do you make Corbin pick Roman Reigns as the ref?
Well,
How
it's
do
just
you
a matter of
explain
like,
that?
are
I feel like
you?
Bobby Lashley
Is he
or something.
trying to pick somebody who he
Oh,
thinks
God,
Seth Rollins is not
Lashley.
going to destroy?
If it's Lashley, that is so dumb.
Lashley makes sense from the standpoint of they don't like to write
It's-
anything new.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that's so lazy. Like I would appreciate them just making it anyone else, like literally anyone else, just because it's not lazy. Like just try to write something different.
Okay.
He could make it a
He
woman.
He makes it Shane McMahon.
Yeah,
Shane McMahon
like,
works.
I mean, you can do that.
Seth won't
What-
take
what-
out his
what-
boss because he gets stripped of the title.
Make it a woman. What if you make it Becky?
I'm going to agree with one of your previous points with like Reigns, where it's like, how do you make that make sense? Like, why would Becky Lynch do it?
It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, but
What
I
about Heyman?
no way. He
Nah,
actually did a
Heyman's too
promo
much
on
of
it.
a cowardy. Yeah, he's the two coward and sleazy. He wouldn't do it.
I mean,
There's not many guys left that would make sense right now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're looking for somebody who's not going to be afraid, you could do like Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin don't really see eye to eye. You could do Drew McIntyre, I guess. If you were going to do a woman, I'm not really sure which woman you would do. I don't know that, but it is a perfect time to bring a woman into the fold of kind of like that kind of evil dynasty that's starting to build up, kind of evil corporate entity. Now, I don't know that Baron Corbin is officially part of that. I mean, right now you have McIntyre, McMahon, and the Revival, but that's not to say that you couldn't grow it.
Whoa, Baron Corbin's not evil, man. He is every town that he goes to their favorite hometown person. Come on.
Well, no, he's evil to the faces in the ring. Of course, he's everybody's favorite wrestler.
I gotta admit, I've grown to like this character, Baron Corbin.
Oh, Baron Corbin's been great for a while. I mean, some of the writing that they do with him again in a lot of these matches, they're kind of silly, and as usual, I'm always sick of the 6-person tag team matches. They drive me flipping crazy, and they're so obvious. Oh, look, this person came out, then this person came out, then this. It's like it's so obvious. Oh, 3v3. Okay, let's go. They do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and like when they do it now without even a commercial break, they just get in the ring and all of a sudden it's coming. Like as the next person comes out to talk over the person in the ring. That's that part of it's not even creative.
Well,
What about Charlotte?
Charlotte as the ref?
Yeah.
I think, I think that checks the boxes in regards to, is it a woman? Is it a heel?
Yeah. Lacey would work also, but she's already in the match unless It depends on the way the card works. So I would assume this would be the last match on the card unless they do Dolph and Kofi as the main event.
I just feel like if you're going to use a woman as the ref, though, that he should lose the belt because of that. Like it should be the created distraction that turns the tide for Baron Corbin. I mean, I don't think Baron Corbin would be, the worst champion ever, considering how many people hate him. It would get a lot of boos. I know Chuck loves Baron Corbin. That was the wrestler. That was the shirt he wanted. The Baron Corbin shirt.
His shirt is actually pretty cool, but him as a I want to take him out. Take him out right at the knees.
So, in case you didn't hear it, Captain Chuckles, guest referee for Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin will not be leaving the ring.
I don't know, man. I really think it's time for Corbin to get a push, and if it wasn't for this Brock Lesnar with the Money in the Bank, unless you screw Brock Lesnar, kind of like how Corbin got screwed with the briefcase, he cashes in, but Corbin still manages to, be the sleazeball, and after Brock like F5 Seth, Corbin goes and pins Seth somehow, hitting Brock with a chair or something and throwing him out of the ring and pinning Seth and win the belt. Like I just think it'd be a good time to let Corbin win the belt right now and give him a little bit of a run. He's a good heel. I mean, everybody hates him. I've called him in the past the face maker. You used to put him out there all the time to give the other guy cheers from the crowd because everybody hates Corbin like Chuck does. Everybody hates him. They want to boo him. So bring another guy out there, and I guarantee he'll be the face.
Yeah, and I would say your easiest answer to that guest referee question actually would be if Seth is indeed going to win, then who is he going to feud with next? That's who your guest referee should be.
Maybe it should just be John Cone, the ref that was the one who screwed him over the first time. Like, let Baron Corbin just go ahead and pick the ref that screwed him at Super Showdown, so that he figures if Seth wants to beat somebody up, he could beat the ref up.
That would be funny if Seth just
lazy.
beat up the ref. Like, oh, we're just going to use a normal ref. Well, I'm beating him up too.
Well, I mean, I think that's the one match that could end interestingly, obviously with the cash-in possibility. But, I mean, you could also go to the Kofi match and say, well, Kofi's locked in a cage. It could be a pretty vicious match, and at the end, you could hear Brock Lesnar's music.
I agree with the Kofi cash-in. I just don't think it's happening at Stomping Ground. No way. They're not going to waste that on the Stomping Ground audience. They're going to give that to the SummerSlam audience.
Okay, so, I mean, are we going to see any, Steven, you said there's going to be some title changes, you think, but, really, this is one of those pay-per-views that feels like nothing's going to change hands.
I think it
really
should be,
feels like one of those throwaways.
I think it should be Bayley losing to Alexa Bliss. I think that's the right storyline to have the title switch on.
But they've done it so much.
When was the last time they did it, though? The last time they kind of ended it prematurely, and it wasn't necessarily firing off that well, but it's firing off very well right now.
But then we get another moment in the life of Bayley, which was,
I mean,
this is your life.
I don't think that they will do that because it bombed miserably, and I don't think most fans remember that. Again, we're a little bit different. Of course we remember that because it was really bad.
It definitely seems like they're trying to make up for that whole storyline a little bit. But to Steven's point, it's like we've already had Alexa Bliss be the one to ruin Bayley's, run. Alexa Bliss was the one that basically kind of buried Bayley when she first came up on the roster from NXT. So you just going to do that again?
Well, I guess my question to each and every one of you would be, do you like Alexa Bliss more than you like Bailey right now?
No.
I'd say no.
I'd say no.
So I'm I hate that. I hate it when you guys put me in a position where I disagree with all of you. I like Alexa Bliss. I love Alexa Bliss.
Disagreeing.
It's not that I love disagreeing. I love
let me-
Alexa Bliss.
All right. Why do you love Alexa Bliss? You love Alexa
I
Bliss
just-
because of her mic skills and her character?
Hell's
Because it
to
can't
the
be because of her. It's not
her,
because of in
no,
ring.
in ring. She is definitely inferior to Bailey. It is about the mic skills, and I'm one of those people who thinks that in this world of the competitive athletic wrestling, where they're trying to put it over as a sport a lot of times during the matches, I'm kind of over this part of wrestling. I want, them to make sure, and they've been doing it, that they make sure that they inject enough entertainment into it, because it's sports entertainment. It's not sports.
So
mic
yes,
skills
you
are
can still do
appreciated.
that. Yeah, of course. But I think the argument here is that lately Bliss has been a talk show host, essentially. She
Yeah.
really hasn't had any matches. Now, I know there's probably been some injuries or rumors of some injuries, concussions, etc. So they're keeping her on TV doing some other things. But even like her matches, they seem kind of lacking. The only time I
Sure.
started to get back on board with Bliss is when she slipped on the coffee on the outside and came in like fierce, and almost seemed like angry and mean and gave Billy Kay the DDT. That was the Bliss we have to get back to for me to get back on board with her. Right now, Bailey's got more ruthless aggression than Bliss does.
She does. I kind of feel like the whole Alexa Bliss stuff is kind of building up Nikki Cross.
I could see that. I could see
tough.
that building up. I could see that building up a match between Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross in the long run. And don't interpret it the wrong way. The question is, do you like Bailey more than you like Alexa Bliss or whatever? And you guys all like Bailey more than you like Alexa Bliss. I like Alexa Bliss more than I like Bailey. Should she lose the title? No. And that's wholeheartedly because of that Sasha angle that I was pushing last week. That's the right angle. That's the right storyline.
This would be a good time for them to bring Sasha back.
Stomping Ground, yes. At Stomping Ground.
Has Nikki Cross in her corners. They could be getting fishy. And then, because she even mentioned the only friend you had, you've alienated or whatever when they were confronting each other on Raw. Let this be when Sasha Banks comes back finally.
Yeah.
Is it a big enough pay-per-view for that?
It's not about it being a big enough pay-per-view because it's the pay-per-view before SummerSlam, correct? So that's what's important. It's the setup for the SummerSlam match. Because again, like I say, she comes back, she turns on Bailey to set up Sasha Banks versus Bailey at SummerSlam.
She comes out there to save Bailey, and then Bailey picks up the win, and when they're celebrating, Sasha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what we were talking about last week.
It's the old I'm saving because I want to be the one to beat you, not because I want you to win.
Yes. I think that's the right way to go, which is why
Bailey wins.
When we do make the choices, I will have Bailey win. Now, of all of the matches that I see on the card, that's the one where the titles I'm like, well, maybe they'll flip. Maybe Daniel Bryan and Rowan give the titles to Heavy Machinery, but I don't necessarily like that.
I like Heavy Machinery. I think out of all of them, I think that one is going to be the one that changes hands.
I guess it depends on what they're wanting to do with Daniel Bryan. Because if they're wanting to use him as a solo piece and really push him really hard, well, then it makes sense. Split those two up. Kill the gimmick. But I kind of like the gimmick. Kind of always have.
I'm So I'm kind of with Chuck on that just because they're in Washington. They're in his backyard and he's going to be pretty over and they love to just mess with the crowd, I feel like sometimes with the hometown crowds of wrestlers. So it would make sense to put heavy machinery over. But my issue with that is we go back to writing, building a storyline, nurturing a storyline. There's very little storyline there. They tried to build one up on SmackDown this week, having Heavy Machinery fight the Jobbers in the B team and trying to make the B team sound like, oh, it was impressive because they're former, Raw Tag Team champions. But even then, we haven't seen enough of Heavy Machinery and haven't developed them enough or developed a feud with Daniel Bryan and Rowan enough for this to make sense. It's still just, I feel like that's another throwaway. Why are we getting that tag team match for the championship and not the Usos and the Revival again? Like, you could just keep putting the Usos and the Revival in matches over and over again, kind of like we used to do with the New Day and the Usos. I don't understand why we're getting this tag team match and not the other one. Not even a match for the tag titles on Raw.
I don't know,
or the women's titles, by the way, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, but if they did the Usos and the Revival every time, eventually you'd be like, why isn't Daniel Bryan and Rowan on a pay-per-view? I mean, it's still, you gotta give people time, give people airtime.
Well, yeah, but you give them airtime to develop the storyline, which they haven't. They put them on SmackDown this week and basically just created a feud with Heavy Machinery. And Heavy Machinery, we're doing a lot of stuff on social media with like those funny like cardboard belts, which I definitely had one of those. Like, I definitely made, Chuck, you could vouch for that. I've definitely made my own belt out of cardboard and a baseball belt. But like,
I can attest to that. I can attest to that.
But like they like, that was a really fun little like gimmick and storyline they were doing, and they kind of just threw it away this week. Like, it didn't even exist. Like, they were walking around with those cardboard belts for 1 week and that was it. Like, they just didn't like it, I guess. But I'm not fighting for, I think, the Usos and the Revival to be in place of them. I'm just fighting for them to put good storyline matches in the right place. And I feel like this isn't in the right place because it's not built yet.
Well, I'll never disagree with you on that point because I'm all story all the time. Yeah. I do love Heavy Machinery too. The only thing I worry about with Heavy Machinery, if you do something crazy and flip the belts over to them, is, are they good enough to hold your attention for longer than like a month? If they're especially if they fight all the time, because what do they bring new to their matches?
Nothing.
Yeah,
they have
that's worrisome. It's worrisome. They're fun. Definitely.
They're the bushwhackers. They're the bushwhackers. They're entertaining. But a tag team that can give you a run, I don't know. Like, they haven't developed any tag teams. Who are the other tag teams on SmackDown that could even be up for? So there's the B team. That's
what I was just going to say. Like, who are the tag teams on SmackDown exactly?
Well, there's like 3 of them.
4 of them.
New Day, which are doing their own thing right now, right? Because they're the world champions.
They're in a match with Sammy and KO.
That's a throwaway match.
That's a tag team that it's hard not to like, but how long will they actually be
KO and Sammy?
Yeah. I'm just
Sammy's.
I never really.
Sammy's
trust
not even
that.
on the same show, right? Sammy's on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They permanently have a wild card in their pocket, sir. So you take that back.
Dude, the wild card, they like obliterated it this week. Like, there was just people showing up everywhere. And even KO was talking about it on social media. He's like, apparently they're just not enforcing this rule at all. So, but the police are coming to get him, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Yep. there they are. Lock up them bad storylines.
By the way, on a totally off note, but talking about SmackDown, what is going on with Chad Gable and walking around with the clipboard? Anybody got any info?
It's the list of Gable.
I don't know, but I kind of like it. I don't know what it is. I'm curious. I like Chad Gable. I think he's a great wrestler. I always said that they needed to find him a gimmick because of him just being Bobby Roode's gimmick didn't make any sense. Like I was afraid that he was going to get stuck in this loop of doing other people's gimmicks. So I don't know, unless they're totally just playing off that entirely, and he's going around taking notes to build his own character from everyone else's character. Like he's basically jotting down.
That's a great idea. That is a
how to, like, be other
spectacular
people,
idea.
others idea. So like he'll come out and just basically morph into all these different wrestlers that he's been jotting notes down about.
I love
He'll
that
be like
idea.
a megalomaniac of SmackDown stars.
That might be good. I might have cracked the case on that one.
I hope so, because I think that is a very good idea.
So, but I'm just glad he's getting a shot. Like, it's nice to see him get a little bit of TV time since, he should have been the one that was Kurt Angle's son. I know we've said that in the past. That was the right way to go about it.
It's not too late.
Jason Jordan.
It's not too late.
It's too late because Kurt Angle's not on TV anymore.
It's not too late for fans like us. They could throw in a joke in there at some point, like where somebody just walks up to him and says, "Has anybody ever told you look like Kurt Angle?" And like, that's it. I would love it.
That sounds like something that they would just do in the back to just mark us out. Just mess with us entirely, you know what I mean?
Damn you, WWE. Well, we have scientifically proven that WWE listens to our podcast many times over.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it seems that they're constantly listening to whatever suggestions we're bringing up.
Not always the good ones, though.
No, not always the good ones. But hey, I say, listen, these women's tag teams need to have matches. And lo and behold, they actually had a match.
They did.
They actually went out there and wrestled.
Real people.
And how did they win? Like they wrestled Alexa Bliss and they wrestled Nikki Cross. And how did they win? Did they cheat? Did they do the sleazy thing and win? Wow, what a great idea for a heel tag team to cheat to win. That's amazing. I wonder where they picked that idea up at.
That's another week in a row that they listen to our podcast.
I swear, if Chad Gable comes out next week, I'm checking my house for wiretaps.
Yeah. So what else do we have on the card? We got a little cruiserweight action. Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, Akira Tozawa. I always have some love for Drew Gulak.
Is that actually on the card?
That's
on the pre-show.
That's probably a pre-show match.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cruiserweight.
So I'm gonna do a throwback to earlier in the podcast, but I'm gonna make an argument for why it's important to play to the crowd, because they're gonna be on the pre-show, and they're gonna have everybody still coming in, and they're not gonna get a lot of reactions from the crowd, and we're gonna be watching from home, and I'm sure it's gonna be a good match, and we're still gonna see and feel that it's a good match, but there's something about when the crowd is into it, when the crowd is loud, when the crowd is popping for certain things in a match that makes it even better, that makes a good match great. I don't know. There's just something that it changes your senses as you're watching it. So I bet you this triple threat match will be really good, but it's going to feel dead because obviously there's going to be people still filing in and they're not going to be in their seats yet.
Yeah, kind of like when we were talking about last week, the Royal Rumble, or was it? I don't know, one of those weeks.
One of those weeks.
Yeah, and we were talking about Drew Gulak. God, he's an American hero. Let me tell you something. Drew Gulak, no chanting.
It's proof of a guy that doesn't have a strong following, but if you throw him around on enough shows to build a character, it works. Let these guys go around, get on NXT, get on 205 Live. I mean, Gulak even had some time on Raw when and then SmackDown too. Actually, I think when they were kind of letting the cruiserweights have these matches on the shows. He's building a character that way.
So here's something that I really liked from Raw. I was watching the Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans kind of like that little promo that they had out at the ring. And one of the things I really, really liked about it was as Lacey Evans was talking, the crowd started doing the what chants, of course. And then she drops the line about her being a Marine and you never heard what again. It's like everybody was just like, yeah, I can't boo that. We can't boo that you were a Marine. I actually like that.
The basically the real life respect that
Yeah,
she gets.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it for you, I guess. It worked for me.
Well, it was interesting because it was like Becky even was kind of hinting at, here comes the real life sob story, the real life, I think she said like the heartstrings or whatever. And I think the crowd wasn't paying attention. And that's why Lacey kind of caught him off guard when she started talking about, being a Marine and stuff. I don't know that she's ever going to get the crowd behind her now, obviously, going up against Becky. But, Becky's still playing that I don't care who you are, I don't care what background you have, that stone cold, character that she's trying to be.
I'm tired of talking. I just want to punch in the face. Blah, blah. I don't like Becky Lynch's character at all still. Nothing's changed.
What else you got, though? Like, who else do you have to replace her? If you don't like Becky Lynch,
I don't even know that. I don't know that that's my style, right? I don't know that that's my style to say replace her. I'm say fix her. They're not doing a good enough job of fixing the character.
Like, how do you fix Becky Lynch if you're gonna fix her?
Well, first of all, you don't show pictures of
a desperate boyfriend.
The wow, man, I should just drop this topic right here. The one thing you do is you don't show pictures of her and Seth Rollins kissing on WWE television. Why? What was the point of that? Again, I get where you're coming from when you're saying, oh, they're the two faces, it's going to help sell stuff, but how does that help sell a badass character? It doesn't.
It doesn't. She's not a badass character.
Really? Because she thinks she is through her character.
She's not.
She's not, yeah. So how do we make her a badass?
She's the crowd favorite, and you can't make her a badass anymore. It's over. Like you missed that opportunity when she cowered to the McMahons. You missed that opportunity when you were building her and Ronda Rousey, or her and Charlotte, or her and her 6-month leg injury that all of a sudden got better by WrestleMania. You killed that character a while ago. Her badass character was born with the bloody face and died when they basically decided that, do we want to make Becky a badass or Rousey? Ooh, let's do both. Well, that didn't work. They couldn't do it, and they messed it up. So you can't change her back. How do you change her back? You don't even have a person to turn her back.
You got to go rebuild mode. You have to.
She'd have to go heel.
Well, no, she doesn't have to go. I think initially, I mean, she goes heel eventually, but like I guess at first, you have to have her go out there, and she starts, I don't know, being apathetic, I guess, like, and forgets where she came from and how she got there, and then gets taken advantage of by some other woman on the roster and loses her belt and kind of drops all the way down to the bottom, and then has to, destroy her way or destroy people all the way back up the chain, maybe.
That's a weird morph of like Charlotte Flair slash the old Becky Lynch that was like pitiful and kept losing.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes that's what you have to do to reset. I mean, at this point, it's too far gone. I don't know that, the way you fix it is to destroy it and rebuild it versus, that you can actually do something to make her be kind of badass again. Unless you just want to recycle Seth Rollins and just have her just, she stops doing promos and she just beats the fuck out of people with chairs. That might work.
She did that with a crutch already.
Well, do it again.
I think you can make her a heel. I think you could do the lose to Lacey Evans and just feel like everybody's against you, the crowd's against you, the crowd, who was there for you. She didn't need you, she didn't need the crowd, she just needs herself, and just starts bad mouthing the crowd. That, which is kind of an old Seth Rollins character too. I would dig that Becky Lynch right now over. I don't know. This one's not terrible, but it's just not doing it anymore for us.
I like that clarification. For us.
And I'm sure Steven still loves her.
Her, yes. The character, I'm getting over to.
It's finally happened.
So,
I said earlier, I think she's going to lose to Lacey.
Yeah.
So, pretty good 5-way match for who goes up against Joe. I enjoyed it. I think Ricochet was the right pick to win that match. However, I don't like the match going into Stomping Ground. Because
why?
What's your end game for, I know I asked that a lot. What's your end game when you put Ricochet versus Samoa Joe in a subpar pay-per-view?
Ricochet rolls up Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe loses the belt, looks astonished as the camera zooms in on his face.
So you're gonna redo the Rey Mysterio angle?
You're gonna redo the last 6 angles with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe and Kofi, Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and everybody.
I think they make it a quick match. Ricochet's out there doing his entrance. He's up on the top rope, and when he hops down after waving to the crowd, the clutch, he taps out right at the beginning.
But the only problem with that is, I don't know. I mean, so you're saying basically the match never starts?
Yeah. Joe just puts him out at the very beginning.
It's kind of Joe-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Ray's son comes out to save him.
Really?
Is he wearing the Prince Puma mask?
No, he's wearing Ray's mask.
Is that your?
Oh,
is that your?
Well, I don't know. He's saving Prince Puma.
When we pick matches, is that going to be your bonus point prediction?
I don't know if it's going to give me any points, but it's a prediction.
I don't know. Going back to the Fatal 5-Way, how about freaking Cesaro, man?
He's a beast, man.
Holy cow!
On Strowman.
Holy cow! With him on Strowman, that was ridiculous. Lifting him up over his head like that. That guy deserves so much more. I hope this is the beginning of Cesaro getting a singles push. I like his new entrance. I like, the fact that he's a bad guy right now. He's awesome.
Why not just
he's the most underrated wrestler?
Why not just have Cesaro be the guest referee for Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin, and be the next opponent? Is that too much?
No, I like that.
Yeah. They probably have some pretty good chemistry, too. Those guys are friendly.
Where's AJ Styles?
Rest for the old man.
How long's he been resting, though?
They've already announced him for the Tokyo tour. Him and Gallows and Anderson and Triple H.
Oh yeah, he had a backstage segment. I do remember that now.
He was being checked out after his match with Seth, and Corbin decked him.
Yeah. I guess I just want a little bit more AJ Styles love. He's just way too good of a wrestler. But if he needs rest, then by all means take it. But I definitely look forward to seeing him get back into it.
Well, not only that, it seems like they're almost kind of repackaging the club a little bit and giving them maybe another little run with each other, which be good for Gallows and Anderson. I mean, I don't know how much more the run they got in WWE right now, so why not give them one more push?
Sure. Okay. The only other match that I see on the card that we haven't touched on is Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre.
We've already seen that match.
We have. But do you like the promos?
I do. I like the promos because honestly, Shane is doing a really good job being a pain in the ass, terrible heel. McIntyre's always been, big, scary. Like, he's got plenty of good mic skills. I think they're both playing off each other very well. Reigns, McIntyre, and throw Shane in there. I don't like the whole mixing in of the Miz this week with that storyline. It's almost like you tried to throw the Miz back into it to almost build Shane back up again and build McIntyre back up for Reigns, which is weird.
I think we're gonna end up getting Miz and Shane at SummerSlam
again.
I don't know. Does that follow though? Why wouldn't you have Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon?
You're on a high, and I'm gonna be the one to take you out. So they're gonna do like a Hell in a Cell or something. They're gonna do something stupid like he always does. But Miz will finally win one.
Yeah, they can wait for Reigns to stuff. Well, honestly, if Shane is gonna be the one to take out Kofi, then Reigns could then take the belt from Shane. I mean, I'm way down, right? We're months away. I'm talking, but they could be building towards that.
Well, because you're assuming that the game plan has and always will be to put a belt back on Reigns, correct?
Correct. I mean, at some point.
When does McIntyre get his run?
I would say McIntyre needs to be the one to beat Seth Rollins. But you're on different shows, so how do you do that?
Wild card in my pocket, baby.
Like, that's, I think, the best matchup for McIntyre to look strong. And obviously, Seth will still look strong coming out of that. And I think McIntyre can kind of take that and run with it as a really good heel champion.
But then do you repeat on the other side? You have Brock take Kofi's belt, and then only Reigns is the one who can take him down?
If my name's Vince McMahon, I do.
Well, it just so happens that there is a guy named Vince McMahon that works for WWE or owns it. And, he really likes big guys like that banging into each other. Would you be annoyed by another Brock Lesnar-Roman Reigns feud?
Yes.
Yes.
We've seen it.
Guess what? Done. I agree with you. Yes. Don't do it. Okay. We say that you listen to us, right? I'm going to. Was that a yes on you for you two, the boss?
Oh yeah, I was over it before it was over.
Okay, so if you're listening, that's 4 yeses that we do not like that feud. So don't do it. Just don't do it. Thank you.
Please.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
That's the feud we're going to get next.
All right. Well, let's get to picks and predictions then. Let's stuff it in. If you find something that you want to speak on, by all means, speak on it as we cover each match. We've talked a little bit about the build up and some of the different wrestlers, but I want decisive picks on who you guys think are going to win in these matches. All right. So pre-show, most likely, a Cruiserweight Championship between Tony Nese, who is the champion, versus Drew Gulak versus Akira Tozawa. Who do we think is going to win?
Gulak.
I'm I'm gonna go with Nice.
I am also gonna go with Nice.
I am gonna go with Drew Gulak. Like me some Drew Gulak. And we'll do that same order. So the boss, Chris, Chuckles, and then myself. So then we got The New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
I think this kind of goes no contest. Like a double count out. They're just all fighting outside of the ring. It'd be different, and neither one of them really needs the win.
And it would hit their bad endings quota for sure.
It's gonna be The New Day. They just win.
I'm gonna have to go with The New Day as well.
Man, I really felt that. I got excited there for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I've got to go with KO and Sami Zayn just because it's one of those picks where I'm saying, what's best for story? If you're dedicated to building this feud up, then you might as well have the bad guys win at Stomping Ground. Next one, SmackDown Tag Team Championship between Daniel Bryan and Rowan, who are the champions, versus Heavy Machinery. Steven.
Daniel Bryan and Rowan. I just don't feel like there's enough there to take it off of them yet, or anything to do with them if they lose the belts.
Yeah, Planet Champions. There's no reason to change it right now.
I'm gonna go with Heavy Machinery just because I want a little bit of a change up there with the what do we have? The 3 tag teams on SmackDown.
Let's just rotate that. Let's just rotate those belts around. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I definitely want to hear your guys' predictions. So if you have specific predictions on a specific match here, you go ahead and throw it out. I have a feeling you probably didn't have any in any of these matches anyway, but are the ones that we've talked about. I will go with Daniel Bryan and Rowan because I agree with Chris in that we don't want to push bad storytelling at all.
Wait, but this is the WWE though.
Well, and as we've said many times on our podcast, just because we come up with good ideas doesn't mean that the WWE listens to us. So most of the time they don't. So I agree. It is the WWE, and they'll do whatever sells the most, or at least they think whatever sells the most. United States Championship, Samoa Joe versus Ricochet.
Puts him out before it starts. Ray's son comes out to make the save.
Oh, I love this prediction. I'm going to freak out if this actually happens.
I want it to happen. It'd be out of left field.
You know what I love the most about it is that when they were talking about this happening with Rey Mysterio, I hated the idea of it, but it's so random with Ricochet that I think I would just love it in the moment at least.
Yeah, I'm picking the one and only Ricochet, and yeah, we're definitely gonna see the Samoa Joe face. The oh my gosh, I lost the match. How did it happen? Face. This will be the one title change I think I'm gonna have to predict on this card.
I would love to say Ricochet and see him have it, but I think Joe's gonna take that one.
I almost want to do like an anti-Steven prediction just because it might be like so much better. Like, well, we thought that was random, right? Okay, so here we go. There's a match between Samoa Joe and Ricochet, and Ricochet gets the upper hand, and it's getting ready to go down. And out comes Dominic in the Rey Mysterio mask to help Samoa Joe retain the title.
Dude, that's my storyline from weeks ago.
I know, but it's adjusted, but it's adjusted to Ricochet.
It's adjusted to Ricochet.
You'll get a half point. You'll get a half point for it if it happens, okay?
Because he looks so much like Rey Mysterio, being like 6 feet taller than him.
Oh my god, it would be spectacular. Okay. Next match. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre.
I want Drew to get a win. With like 3 claymores. Just keeps kicking him.
Yeah. I got burned at Super Showdown with picking Reigns. Reigns seems to be the guy who loses and puts guys over a lot. We hate him, but he really does put a lot of guys over. So I think it makes more sense to let Drew win this match. I think it means more for Drew McIntyre to get a win over Roman Reigns after losing to him at WrestleMania.
It's not a big enough pay-per-view to matter. Like if it was WrestleMania or
Agreed.
SummerSlam, Roman wins all day.
Yeah, you just made the point of all points there.
Yeah. I'm picking Drew.
Roman Reigns gets abducted by aliens and we never have to see him again. Is that a case that we could go for? No,
I would.
It's a
You know
big
what?
point.
You know what? That would be such a weird storyline that I would immediately be on board for it, though.
nah. I'm going with Drew. I can't stand Roman Reigns anymore. Like he's right up there with my hatred of Brock Lesnar right now, and probably even more so just because I hate him. I wish Brock Lesnar would go up against Roman Reigns. The ring would implode, and they would both disappear, and we would never have to see him again.
Chuck is the guy who secretly sneaks to every WWE show and is holding the sign that says, "Is it okay to boo Reigns yet?"
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. It is absolutely okay to boo Roman Reigns, and it's definitely got to be Drew McIntyre winning this match. Steven made the point of all points, which is it's too small of a pay-per-view. Like, who cares if Roman Reigns loses? Because it's all about his shining moment at SummerSlam. Whatever that ends up being, who knows? Because I don't really know.
By aliens.
Yes, that the greatest storyline of all time. Yes. All right, so next one, SmackDown's Women's Championship, Bayley, the champion, versus Alexa Bliss.
Bayley wins.
Bayley wins. There you go.
Bayley wins. Yep, going with Bayley.
Okay.
I'm
Not gonna
going
make
with
any
Bayley as
off-the-wall
well.
predictions for this one. Just Bayley wins.
I made this prediction last week, so I'm gonna hold with it. Is that what we were talking about earlier?
It's not your turn yet.
What? Didn't Chuck say something?
I
Yeah,
did.
Bayley.
I said Landry's got a chair to my head, and she said if I don't say Bayley, she's gonna hit me with it. So
Yeah.
Bayley.
Well, that's 4 votes for Bayley, but this is my 100% realistic prediction. Is in fact what we were talking about, that something's going to happen in this match where, I don't know, maybe the ref gets knocked out somehow and it becomes a sticky situation where Bayley is put in a corner and it's not looking like it's going to go her way, and here comes Sasha Banks to save the day, and then she wins only to be attacked by Sasha Banks to set up their match at SummerSlam.
And then they get abducted by aliens.
Yes, everybody's getting abducted by aliens at SummerSlam. This is when the Martians are visiting Earth for the very first time. All right, so next one, Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch, the champion, versus Lacey Evans.
I think Lacey wins.
This is one of those instances where I felt like I was going to pick all the champions and not make any changes. And through our conversations, I'm like, this might be a good time to let Lacey win. And unfortunately, I think it's going to happen. Fortunately, I think it's going to be she wins via DQ or something. Some weird situation where she either wins by cheating and doesn't get the belt because they reverse it, or wins by DQ. So she's not going to get the belt, but she's going to win.
It's fine because I never said she gets the belt. I just said Lacey wins. So
Yeah.
I get a point either way.
All right. Well, I'm looking for more points.
That's one way to get them. Be specific.
I am gonna go with Becky on this one.
I think, man, I think Becky needs to lose to build the rematch at SummerSlam. They're just going to fight again, right? And I think SummerSlam is where Becky's going to end up losing the belt to Lacey Evans, but she needs the fuel, and the fuel is going to be losing to Lacey Evans, but I'm not going to, because I'm agreeing with Chris, I don't get any points for saying, yeah, I agree that's going to be like a DQ or something like that. But I do believe that Lacey Evans will win because it's important for the future of the storyline. And storylines matter.
Yes.
I said that with a smile. WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston, the champion, versus Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage match.
I believe this will be the match of the night, and Kofi will win by being knocked off the top of the cage.
Man, I would really like to pick Dolph Ziggler. Like, really, really wish WWE would like put a swerve on this and let Dolph win this match, and carry the belt even just for like a month. But yeah, I'm picking Kofi Kingston because they're still riding this Kofi train, and I'm over it. I mean, it was nice at WrestleMania. It was a decent moment, but it's kind of boring. Like, the promos are kind of boring, and the whole Kofi Mania thing is just kind of worn out on me. So, but I'll pick Kofi to win.
I agree with everything Mr. Tiro said. I'd love to see Dolph with the belt for a bit, but I
believe
think
Dolph deserves it. Yeah.
I agree with everything Mr. Tiro said too. The only thing I will add to it is that, sadly, I like to pick again with storyline. Storyline is most important. And it is important that even the matches at these pay-per-view that Kofi had, they're tough matches that he's got to grind through, that makes him extra lovable for the mainstream fans and makes people like us kind of be over him, so that when Brock Lesnar cashes in on him at SummerSlam, a few of people like us might go, okay, yeah, cool, this is great. Yeah, this is great. And it just rips the heart out of every single person that truly loves him, because it's the right move. It's the right storyline move. So he needs to keep winning until SummerSlam, when he wins a crazy match, whoever it is against, and gets his belt taken away from him by Brock Lesnar.
But you just know that if Brock wins that belt, all they're doing is setting up for Brock and Roman again, because there's nobody else on SmackDown that's going to challenge him. But
it's my way of using good writing logic, a la the cash in on Kofi, to predict bad writing logic of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
They should let Shane beat Kofi and then have Brock cash in on Shane so that he gets the belt, and then you can go to the Roman Reigns. Like, I'd rather see it go down that way. Like, I don't want Brock again. I don't want Brock and Reigns again. But if I get to see Brock Lesnar F5 Shane, that might be fun.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not any more thrilled about Brock Lesnar than anybody else, but like, I think I'm gonna enjoy watching him beat the crud out of Kofi Kingston a little bit.
Well, that's the AJ Styles effect. AJ Styles showed us how great it could be when Brock and a smaller guy work really well together.
Yeah. Okay, Universal Championship match between Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin.
I think Seth wins the initial match and then Brock cashes in.
I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. I'm not going to put any stipulation on it. I really want Baron Corbin to win. If I'm picking with what I want, I'd pick Corbin. But if I'm picking to try to get it right, I'm going to pick Rollins. It unfortunately, I don't think it's time for Corbin in the storyline yet. I think he's going to get there eventually, but this is going to be Rollins again.
Oh, yeah. If Brock does cash in on Kofi, I think Corbin wins the belt at SummerSlam.
I'll be down for that.
So I'm going to go with Seth Rollins as well. I was toying with like a thing where Brock comes down and actually, hits Corbin, and ultimately Corbin wins because Rollins gets DQ'd, but I think that's a little bit far fetched. So I'm gonna stick with just Rollins. No crazy stuff happening.
I'm gonna say that Rollins is going to win, but one of the things that's going to happen in the match, because Baron Corbin's going to have his own special referee. We're not sure who that is at this moment, but I think that the special referee is either going to miss the moment and screw up the moment where Baron Corbin actually straight up wins the match and misses the count, and he had it, like he won, but because the count wasn't done, he actually didn't win. Or whoever his guest referee is, he's going to underestimate them and they are going to turn and screw him. Screw Baron Corbin. And Seth Rollins wins. Am I allowed to do I need to pick one of those two? I probably need to pick one of those two, don't I?
Yeah, you got to pick one. You can't. You just put. That was the if.
Well, no, it was just two. But if I have to pick between the two, then I would say he's going to pick a ref, and that ref's actually going to turn on him. And that's what makes Seth Rollins win the match. I think that's good for storyline and an interesting way to keep the Baron Corbin storyline going in case that's the direction they're wanting to go. So that's it. That's all the matches. So let's do one quick go through real quick. Same order. Steven, the boss, Hill. What's something you would like them to develop? Something you want to see? Maybe at Stomping Ground, maybe Raw, SmackDown after that, pushing towards SummerSlam, some storyline that you dreadfully want to see happen.
I'm going to take a page out of Tiro's book and say I'd love them to build toward the women's tag titles.
It's a good book. It's a good page.
It's a good page in a chaotic book.
Well, the fact that they're just doing these throwaway matches like in Japan to like even get a title match for the Japanese duo is ridiculous. It's whatever. I'm gonna go down a different road. It's been fun watching the 24/7 title. It's been fun watching Truth and Maverick and these guys chase each other around, and it's interesting and it adds another kind of layer to WWE television and social media. But I think what I've enjoyed this week the most was EC3's spot during the introduction of who my ref's gonna be from Baron Corbin, then taking the chair, and then the New Day messing with him and holding him like Weekend at Bernie's, and EC3 kind of morphing into, this might be his character. He's like the guy you just like kind of knock around and don't think much of. And I think his character is starting to build a little bit. And Maverick getting a push with the 24/7 title is helpful for EC3 because they work really well together. So I hope to see more EC3. I think he's paid his dues now, and I think it's time for him to get some more TV time and to get some development in a storyline.
Cool. I like it. Chuck.
I got to give a shout out to my Viking brethren. They took care of those jobbers this week. It was fantastic to watch. I loved every second of it. But I'm going to go back to what Steven said with the women's tag team stuff. And I'm excited to see what happens between the Iconics and Asuka and Kairi Sane. I would love to see what the finality of that little match there is.
Yeah,
women's tag team wrestling. Yeah,
WWE. Where I think we're all in agreement on it. You need to fix it, make it good. So I pre-warned you guys about that wheel, where I'm speaking out of one side of my mouth and then I speak out of the other. And before I say this, I just want to let you know that I'm so glad that we're all friends, and this is a friendship that will never, ever end. It is time to bring Bray Wyatt out.
we're not
And
friends.
as much as I dread them bringing Bray Wyatt out, because I'm so flippin' scared they're going to ruin him. And I know you're there with me, Chris. I know you're there with me on this.
I'm there with you.
I'm
Right there
so
with you.
scared they're going to mess him up. But he needs to come out.
Follow the leader,
Yes.
Follow the leader.
We are ready to follow you. We're ready to let you in, Bray. And I just hope that they're giving you enough creative freedom that when you come out onto the live stage and you start torquing this thing up, that it just has a life of its own and it just works really, really well. Because you've already got the cool promos. It's a great gimmick. You got great merch. I love that. Did you see some of the new merch?
Hike up your pants. Do a muscle man dance.
Have you seen some of the new merch? Did you see them? Did you see the shirt with like the jar of the breakfast spread on
Yeah.
it? It looks so bad, but in a way where the first one looked so bad that I like the second one, right? Like the first shirt was awful. We were like, wow, it's kind of like they just put it on there. And then he kind of made a joke about that. And then that shirt just being the spread on it, and it looks so bad in the best way possible.
I want the muscle man.
Yeah,
want the muscle
the
man
Wyatt
dance.
Gym. I think it's a Wyatt
Yeah.
Gym shirt. Yeah. So
yeah.
it is time. It is time for Bray to make an appearance. You know, maybe it should be at Stomping Ground because you want him to have a match at SummerSlam possibly. So let's make it happen, WWE. We're all ready for it. We're just a little scared.
Don't ruin it.
So that's been our time this week. We appreciate everybody who listened. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like what we're throwing out at you, hit that like button. If you disliked it, give us a dislike. Tell us why.
It's like
All you kids, we know you're listening. We know you're listening right after we post this thing. Hit them likes. Hit them
Comment.
subscribes.
Yeah.
Comment.
tell
Yeah.
us how Big Baby Jimmy's the worst, and he's
Yes,
always wrong.
I
Tell us.
know. Tell us why Chris is a dick because he wants me to have to crawl my quote-unquote fat ass through the trunk of his car. He's so mean to me. Gosh.
I mean, in his defense, it is kind of a fat ass.
Wow. See,
Dang.
that's kind of weird. The boss has been looking at my booty.
It got creepy again.
It got creepy again, only it wasn't me this time. It was him. That's a first.
You only got one. You only have one good asset, so I might as well look at it.
Well, Christopher, thank you, sir. The boss, thank you, sir. Chuck, thank you, sir. Appreciate having you guys on here to talk about wrestling because it's our favorite fucking thing to do every week. All right. That's it. That's all. Everybody have a good night.